Okay, let's continue to discuss this paper, measuring corporate culture using machine learning. Before get into the paper, let's discuss what is the corporate culture in general. General definitions versus this paper's definition may have some little differences. So what's the general definition for corporate culture? When the first word come to your mind, your instance is what? Ye Jingxuan还没回来。You, Ye Jingxuan. Which word come to your mind when you first hear corporate culture? When you ever hear Google, Apple, right? Amazon, Facebook, last time we have the videos. What's your image about the corporate culture? That might influence the corporate outcomes afterwards. One word. Teamwork. Okay. And what else? 零配线. Connection. Is a communication or what? A connection, like everything can be connected. Communications. What's next? 廖元轩. Operation, cooperations, okay, it's teamwork. And Zhang Qingwen, rule. Okay, yeah. In general, all your answers are correct. Because corporate culture refers to the belief and the behavior. That's very general terms that determine how a company's employees and managers interacted and handle outside business transactions. So in this way, corporate cultures can be developed over time from the cumulative traits of the people the company hires. So from their image and their behavior, their talking, their conversation, their interaction, you can feel like a very liberal, very conservative, very bright, or other words. So not limited to the specific dictionary in this paper. So a company's corporate culture can be reflected in its dressing code, right? Like an engineer always dress engineer's dress. Business hours, they can work like from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. or they are very flexible, not the specific time. Their office set up, they're not closed form, very open style. So the space are open for everyone. And employee benefits, turnover, and their hiring decision, treatment of the clients or the client satisfaction. So all this will be reflected to the corporate culture. So in this paper, corporate culture is measured as a shared values and the norms, but it's limited to through the earnings code, Q&A languages. So probably not the same real terms of the corporate culture because they are only measured from the earnings code, Q&A languages. So what is the earnings code? You know, every quarter, the public listed company may have an earnings report. Last Q Q1, Q2, they have an earnings call. But after that, they usually have an earnings call to answering the question from the institutional investor or from the analyst. So you have to answer instantly. You cannot prepare. So the language is more spontaneous and instant and more nature. That is the reason why the author using earnings call Q&A language to measure the culture. So survey also showed that if you ask me what's the survey come from, you can Google this company and you can find the results. 60% of the executive believe that clear, define, and communicate core values and belief are considered as the factor of the sustainable contribute to a company's success. So shared values, belief are the core of the company's success contributor. And also 92% of the leaders from the successful company believe that workplace culture and financial performance are closely interrelated. So high workplace culture is related to their financial performances. So surveys also show that culture are very important. So common corporate culture often mentioned by firm, but this is from the general terms, not from the paper. So you can find that most of the public firms will mention these terms. Accountability, trustness, fairness, learning, and customers' experiences. And this is a part of the subculture in every firm. Other than that, most of firms also mention integrity, the first priority. So this is the very important dimension among all. If you do not have the integrity as a base, any other innovation will be redundant and will be destroyed by your integrity. So these apply to firm, apply to people, apply to community, apply to your country. So integrity combined with teamwork, honesty, excellence, innovation will be a very strong culture to motivate a firm's financial performances. So this is a very important motivation to examine why the firm's performance is that excellent. You came from the culture dimension. So breaking down corporate culture, and I pick Google. Because Google is well known as its employee-friendly corporate culture. If you have friends or friends work in Google, you will know that there have so many perks, such like telecommuting. You don't have to go to the office. You can have a sub-office around your location. They hire some sub-location that you can work on to have an internet connection when you're traveling to another state, another city, that you have another telecommunity office temporarily, and flexible time, tuition, reimbursement, free employee, lunch. You can take your friends, take your family members to have a lunch with you for free. And they have on-site doctors. So not just the employees, also for the employee's family. So if your family member have some disease and have some medical report, you can also use the on-site doctor to show the medical report to your Google doctor and to ask them and consult their opinions. So they can also take care of your family members too. So the headquarters in Mountain View, California, the company, besides this purse, they also provide like an oil change, daily life, services, fitness, massage, and the car washes and the healthy style. So it's a really very employee-friendly company, ranking very high. And this example are not listed in the paper because you will not find Google, Sonora, the name in this paper. They are not ranked the top of 5 integrity or innovation. However, breaking down in the reality, we can find many more firms that may out of the list of the paper. So this is the Google's buildings. So they are working in this environment, which is really open and bright and very clean. So can motivate and coordinate it with your co-workers, and very good, easy, and very flexible life. And beside that, I took Apple's office. So very similar. So they are also very innovative, very employee-friendly, and very clean, very bright. And Apple's office is another culture that we can observe, but it's also not evidence from the paper. So what's your idea about Apple and Google? If I only need one word, what words would you feel that is fit for Apple? Or what words in your mind will fit for the Apple and Google? Group 4, because your group did not present today. Now you have the answer. Jing Shuan, one word come to your mind for Google, and one word come to your mind for Apple. Which would you say that's most fit? Comfortable. You mean Apple? Comfort, yeah. But when you're working at Apple, you will not feel so comfort. You have much pressure. High salaries associated with high pressure. So another way, they have some services, facility for relax. Yeah, comfort. Any others? You, impatient. Huh? Yeah, or Google. The system, but the culture, one word, the system. Yeah, system can be very broad, right? So what kind of system? Okay. Much more art, contain more art. Google's product is just beautiful and innovative. So there have a lot of artists to design. And Google might be engineering oriented. Yeah, could be a little difference. Yeah. Okay, so you can, come to your mind, you can organize like a Zhongyuan's cultures, one word. Maybe I will ask you later. to some community, one word for the culture. Okay, so this is the case. But why culture matters in practice? Because motivate the culture may shape innovation. Shape, you guys mentioned coordinations and incentive and long-term performances. So this paper, you know, mentioned Netflix, right? But actually, you know, over time, things change a lot. Before, maybe Netflix is the very early priority, high priority. But top manager, 21st century, Google, Apple, and Netflix, less traditional management strategy, are now include fostering more creativity and people collecting problem-solving priority and greater employee freedom have been the norm. So the culture might be more creativity orientated and more employee freedom orientated. So this has been argued that cultures is the key to a company's success. And also, progressive policies such as the comprehensive employee benefit, I just mentioned Google's benefit, and an alternative to hierarchy leadership. Even doing away with the closed office and the qubit. So you will not see any closed office. All are opened. It's a trend to reflect a more tech-conscious and modern generation. So this is a cultural shift from the last decade to the 21st century. So doing corporate culture, this paper try to solve the measurement problem first, or otherwise it's very hard to quantify the measurements. So very important for us is we can do a lot more, not just firm value, Tobin skill, or the paper's MMA behavior, or the resilience in bad time. We can do more about the accounting fields and the financial fields. A lot of papers can be done, use quantitative corporate culture proxies that you can find. The author also shared the data with the writer, researchers, if you are interested in corporate culture. But they only share the data to 2018. So now it's 2026. The data is out of date, but it still contains a lot of value that you can use. So the paper, the research question is, can machine learning construct a extensible measure for corporate culture? The answer probably is yes, right? Because the author also validated the terms with the other outcomes, which can be correlated and positive related. And can the measure distinguish among 5 values? The answer probably is yes too, because we think that 5 measurement, the correlation is not that high. So you have a high innovation, but you probably have a low quality, or low teamwork. It could be possible. So if they can distinguish 5 values clearly, not correlated, all correlated highly, this could be a good measurement. And does this culture measure correlated with minimal magnified business outcomes? the paper already done that, like accounting restatement and stock return volatility. Many measurements can be done. And in bad times, we found that the resilience is much more stronger, and the acquisition deal is also very useful to be matched. So main finding, you guys already presented. There have 5 important corporate culture segment, and they find the culture dictionary, and they find that the culture is related to operating efficiency, risk-taking, earnings management, compensation, firm value, and acquisition, merge acquisition deal. And especially in the bad times, the paper showed that culture performance link is much more positive and stronger. So this is really a valuable finding. But the literature gap and the paper's contribution, before that, we use qualitative data. And this paper transfer the qualitative survey data into a quantitative one and can connect it to finance outcome. But this paper, by the way, I need to mention, this is really not a causal relationship paper. So don't treat it like a difference or endogeneity paper we had before, because it focuses on the measurement and the validation with broad application. So it's a very, very early stage quantitative culture paper. And after that, we can use their data to do many more application in finance, in accounting, in economics, and in strategy. So this is a very important contribution for the early stage, transfer this qualitative data into the quantitative one. So this is the big value of this paper. And hypothesis, I formulated into 4 based on the paper's content. So measurement hypothesis, and another is their broad relevance, and the tables could be positive related. And hypothesis 2, culture matter more when firm face stress or uncertainty in a bad time. And this could be a hypothesis 3, and the merger acquisition could be a hypothesis 4. This is not listed in the paper, however, it implied some content. So why use earnings call? I just mentioned, because earnings call is more spontaneous than prepared remark. So you can, transcript and write the wording of the CEO or top managers. So can analyze the wording into the dictionary to integrate and quantize the weighting and the coefficient. So analysis partially shapes the discussion that you cannot prepare in the early stage. So this paper used managerial language in earnings call, Q&A, as a revealed signal of culture. So this is a very important source that you cannot manipulate, you cannot prepare earlier. You just have to answer spontaneous and instantly using the very nature languages all you have. You have no time to prepare or to think. So it's much more important or much more informative than polished mission or statement from the website slogan. So this is another data collection skill. So cosine, similarity, earnings code, put all this word into the software. And using the term frequency, how often, in the document, inverse document frequency weight to count. So I have a very simple example to let you know what is the TF-IDF weighting and how the weighting emerge. So let's take a look at this example. Very similar example. If you hear the CEO saying this word, then you process the text. You have to, I read and did remove I. And there I have a sound input. The you can remove, right? In you can remove. So you will input the pre-processed text like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Delete in, delete the, delete I. The second sentence is the same. You remove I, remove in, right? And remove the to become this pre-processed text. And input into the software. Then document 1, this one, you have these words, but you did not have a random forest, right? There's a random forest. In document 1, we don't have 0. But in document 2, here, we don't have SUM, right? But we have others, right? Is the right one? Yeah. It's a document 1, we don't have this one. And document 2, we input this one. We don't have SUM, right? So there's a frequency 0, 0, and your unique will be this one because everyone else don't have it. Your unique will be the random forest because everyone else don't have it. So your SUM and your random forest will have the high weighting, right? And transfer multiplied by each other will come with 0.05. So this is a very general rule. If you have a specialty, that may be your culture because the other firms never mention this term. But if every company mention the same term, that will not be your culture. So you will not get any weighting, so it will be 0. Everyone saying excellence, and if everyone says excellent, then excellent will not be the specific culture. But only you say excellence, then your excellence will have the larger weight among all. So this weighting measured too. One is the frequency, the other is inverse, relative to others, whether you are very special. So this is a measurement from the equation, and the paper using 209 thousandths earnings code from Thomson Reuters database, and the period is 18 years, 7,000 unique firms, 62 firm years. So additional this is they are training the model using WOR2 VEC model. So they're training the model and using cosine similarity to have a wording family. like a wording family, is belong to the same term, same group. After that, their final sample is 62,000 from the original 391,000 earnings goal. Remove some invalid and merge into the listed firm with the observed GVK code. So all these firm with GVK code and all these firm have transcript will be matching and finally get 62,000 firms observations. So the terms from the dictionary only pick here is the top 30. There have a lot more, but the paper only lists like the top 30 terms. So if you hear customer experience, the model will attribute into innovation. If you heard ethical, the model will attribute it into integrity. If your earnings call have the term like a customer relationship, the model might attribute it into quality and respect and teamwork. So this is the logic and the methodology the quantitative data came from. Which word you like most? Each dimension have 30, then we have 150. Which term attract you first, most? Which term you think very, very special or have curiosity? Which word you have a lot of curiosity? Why this belong to quality? Belong to, take a quick. Did you see like innovation? There have another word. Did you see that passionate? Right? So passionate attribute to innovation. So like autonomy, it belongs to integrity. Customer services belong to quality. So relate to product or customer, most of the similarity, the model will attribute into quality. So this is the dictionary looks like. And this is the coefficient. What terms have the highly frequencies in the dictionary? We can see the brands, right? We can see the customers, and we can see the control. Anyway, this is the quantitative data. And culture will shift, but also will decay. You can see this is time t, right? So this is the autocorrelation. Time t correlated with the year before is only 0.79. 2 years earlier, correlation decayed so quick. So 3 years ago, you will find that the culture changed. Everything same. Integrity this year and last year, autocorrelation only 6.9. And then 2 years only come to 1/3, and 3 years earlier, negative. So culture changed and swept very quick. So remember our term, we will show you that we cannot find the firm that we recognize. because culture shifts so quick. Even itself, it changed. No wonder compared with the other firms. And here is the top 3 dimensions. However, innovation is the highest score among all, following by which one? Quality, and following by respect. So these 3 terms create a strong culture of a firm because it has the highly coefficient. And the other dimensions are also very important, but compared with these 3, they have a lower scores of 0.5 for integrity, teamwork only 0.8. I need to mention the institutional investor. Did you see that? If you have a higher corporate culture, top 5 institutional investor will purchase your stock. So they have a higher holding from top 5 institutional investor too. And we can see the correlation measures. This is also very, very important. We just look at the 5 dimensions. If you have high innovation, this one, you probably have a high quality. Correlation is 0.49, very high. If you have a high innovation, you probably have a high respect and high teamwork. So it's a very original factor that motivates the quality, the respect, and the teamwork. An innovation firm will not be a successful one without teamwork, without respect, without quality. We can say that. So if you have a very good innovation scores, that means you probably have a very good quality because it's high correlation and high respect and high teamwork. Or otherwise, your innovation outcome may not be that high. But compared to others, this will not be valid. The others' valuations is relatively low. So I would see that the innovation might be a very, very foster motivation among all. And the paper also validated the measurement using a lot of tables. So we can take a look at the tables here to see whether their dimensions are really good. So from the industrial sector, we can see innovation. Which sector have the highly innovation across these 18 years? This is a square, right? So square is like a business equipment, have a highly innovation. And integrity, this line is the highest among all. So which sector it belongs to? That's the triangle. And triangle is like healthcare, right? So healthcare industry have the highest integrity. The quality, which one, which sector have the highest quality? Square. So business equipment too, and respect and teamwork, the same. It belongs to healthcare. So this is come from the pharma French 12 industry over time. So you can see each industry may have different focus on the culture. And interesting story. This is the most recent 5 years. innovation on the top, Netflix and Twitter, Facebook, without NVIDIA, without Google, without Apple, without Amazon. Okay, this is at the bottom. And integrity also, we don't know anyone. Okay, so maybe BlackRock is an institutional asset management company, integrity high. But other than that, like a Target is high quality because, you might left. Okay, but this is from the earnings call Q&A terms. So Target have the highest quality. Apple will say something. And respect, Salesforce, Teamwork. Okay, so all these firms might have different image as you have because it came from earnings call rather than from the reality. So I need to mention also different. Adobe is 10 more years earlier is innovated. NVIDIA showing like an early stage is innovative. So all these results may have some little difference as you have in your image because they measure different data source and language training model. If you collect from the newspaper, from the Google, or from the NASDAQ website, you might have different results. But this paper also says something about their results. They do some validity test. So innovation with independent variable, the result is pattern numbers, R&D expenditure, and innovation strength. Whether innovation high score is correlated to high pattern R&D expenditure and strength, innovation strength. It shows that positively related to each other. So pass, this validity is okay. As for the integrity, it makes sense. High integrity have a lower restatement, right? So integrity pass. And have a lower big backdating, like accounting, you trace back. And this is negative, so maybe integrity also pass the validity. And for the third one is the quality. Here is interesting. It's not related to product quality, insignificant. However, quality related to product safety is positive related and to top brands. Okay, so quality not related to product quality only. It's probably not the focus. It's related to products safety and brands. And respect related to diversity and the best employee. And the last validity is teamwork. Employee involvement is high, and the number of joint venture divided by strategy alliance is high. Okay, so teamwork also pass. So after pass the validity, the paper showing the strong corporations have some financial outcomes. Here is the result. So strong culture can last for like 3 years. 5 years earlier, 3 years earlier, they already had a very similar pattern. So as a turnover rate is high, okay, but stock return volatility is also very high. So girl number one already explained the reason why it's positively related, but it's also related to Tobin skill performances. And the discretional accrual is negative. Also, this is a financial outcomes the papers examined. And during the bad times, financial crisis and the oil spill shock, we can see the interaction become more resilient and turn out to be positive. Originally, it's negative to abnormal return. But when it faced to the financial crisis and the oil spill, it become and turned out to be positive, So this is quite important. Culture is not only a soft asset, not invisible, not intangible. It may be a resilience mechanism when firms face stress and control and formal control are less sufficient. So this is table 7. And the last table, merger acquisition, innovation firms usually are associated with a higher likelihood of being acquired. And integrity and quality firms are associated with a lower likely to be being acquired. So positive, we can see these two types. Highly likelihood to be acquired in a merger acquisition deal. Also, we can see they have a different strategy and different behavior. And usually, similar culture could be a proper matching pair in the merger acquisition deal. So we can see merger acquisition section here in the paper is more informative than a single correlation test. So the paper even is not for the IV, DVD, DID test, but it also already provide a suggested evidence that provide really informative and valuable results. Here is a minor reminding for you. High integrity from the paper probably have some difference if you compare with the reality. For example, Franklin Resources, high integrity, but also in reality is high integrity. On the other hand, Fannie Mac, in the paper 21, 2001 to 2006, it highlights like a high integrity. However, in 2008 financial crisis, there have some accounting scandal happened. So it actually, integrity language is not identical to integrity behavior because in this case, by contrast, they have the difference result in reality. So culture might be changing very quick. Integrity may have been washing. So we have a greenwashing, we have integrity washing, also culture drifted. Also culture may appear a lot of a cheap talk. If you measure these terms, you have to be cautious too, because this model may learn from the fake terms. So conclusion, machine learning contributed to a quantitative culture measurement, which is really good. But this paper, I would say, is a high quality measurement and correlation paper rather than cautious design, DID, IV endogeneity paper. But the big contribution is make culture measurable and let everyone know innovation is more than patterns in the R&D. And cultural language is not the same as cultural behavior. May have some difference. We are using this culture because we accept that mornings, earnings call and Q&A turns might represent the firm's behavior. So research extension, you can do a lot after that. Because the author I just mentioned, they are very generous to share their quantitative data of this site in the public domain. You can download to get the culture data, do much more accounting, finance, or strategy paper if you like. Okay, I have some questions for Slido. Okay. Can you answer that for me? Present it. Do we have the connection? We have the same problem. Last time we have the same problem. We have to have a website connection, but I think we already have. Yeah, we have a connection. Why? Okay, this is the first question I would like to know now. Okay, I will show you the next questions if the connection is not good. Let me present it again. Okay, it's probably not work here. Okay, so maybe you can see some question I prepare to get your answers. Can you just let me know how the answer in a quick way? Here. Which statement best match the paper's contribution? I can only, know your answers. A, B, C, and D. If your answer is A, raise your hand. Answer B, raise your hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. And answer is C, raise your hand. D, raise your hand. What's the problem about the other 6? If the answer is A, raise your hand. B, what's wrong? You vote. Huh? A? A and B, you mean? B probably the most fit, right? But A actually they do something about the culture, right? So if this is a multiple choice, the best fit is B, followed by A. Partially they do some matching and outcome. And okay, today's discussion will end here. And I hope you enjoy this corporate culture paper. And I mentioned that you can collect the data from the author's public domain because you can do a lot more if you're really interested in invisible assets here. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, answering questions, and participation today. Our class will end here. I will see you next time.